Hello, interwebs. Tis I, Sebastian from InvestComics.com. Once again, in the back of Famous Faces and Funnies and Get Your Fun On here on FFFIC, the review show where, you know, it's not like this is your first time. Oh, I wonder what FFFIC is. We're not wrapping up the new, raking in the new viewers. It's you guys. Hi, you guys. All right. Hi to both. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Peter.
You know who you are.
Hello, my audience. And then one other guy who has like a screen name, so I never remember because it's not a name, I think. I don't know, or it's his name and it just looks screen namey to me. Could go either way. All right, let's do this. This week we had Archer and Armstrong #0. Yeah, there is nothing in this store that I can just prop things on and sit them. There is nothing designed for that shy of moving an entire shelf unit over. And as you can see, I'm too lazy anymore to even move the table over because it's buried behind crap. So there's no way I'm moving the shelf. So alright, Archer and Armstrong #0. The origin of Archer, of Obadiah Archer. It's a tragic origin, but the good news is he doesn't know it's tragic because his mind's been wiped of that. He's a lot more powerful than we thought, and he came up through Spirit Rising. He was friend. It all ties in. Like he was friends with somebody that Bloodshot saved. You know, we got to see Gamma again, the play on the Greek letter Gamma and the and like a kid trying to say grandma. She's like the granny goodness of the Valiant universe. It was really, really good. Indestructible #3 from IDW, which sounds like it would be the autobiography of Darkwing Duck. It'd be IDW, you know, like kind of like I Strahd, I Vampire. Anyway, Indestructible is the story about the guy who takes a bullet into stopping a robbery that he didn't really try to stop it. He just kind of got in the way. He has his cell phone in his pocket. The cell phone stops the bullet. Everyone thinks he's indestructible because there's a world with superheroes. And now everyone wants to make him famous. No one's really questioned it. His friend wants to cash in on it and keeps encouraging it and making it worse. And of course, now he's being called to go. He's going to go to a charity event that he now has an agent. The agent is set up. He's like, yeah, they'll shoot you with a small cannon. No big deal. He's like, no, I don't like the idea of a cannon. It could backfire. He's like, fine, we'll just get somebody to back over you with a truck. No big deal. So he is not sure what he's going to do. And it keeps getting, it's one of those things where it just keeps snowballing and snowballing. It's a lot of fun, and the artwork's really good. So, estoy bien. Mighty Avengers. Sans Superior Spider-Man, because they kicked his ass last time. Although, I think if you just had a fight with Spider-Man, where basically, yeah, it was Luke Cage and Jessica Jones beat the crap out of Spider-Man. So if they just did that, why were they so quick to, they've got their baby, she's in a onesie, and it's a Spider-Man onesie. See, so there's Danny Rand holding. Don't hypnotize the baby, Danny. It's just a light show. So why, if you just beat the shit out of Spider-Man, why are you then dressing your baby like Spider-Man? Seems a bit odd to me. You know, it's like, well, that onesie, you can dress that baby in a cap onesie. You know you would. Falcon's pretty cool. You get him coming in here and using his birds as agents. They refer to him in here as the king of all birds. Really good. I'm really liking Mighty Avengers. Probably for the same reason that I'm not liking the other Avengers. The other Avengers are all heady concepts and multiple realities and off-world adventure, cosmic and grand scope and time-altering twins and all this stuff. And then this is Avengers on a street level. Avengers dealing with, like, you know, bad guys. So I like it. It's très bien. Green Arrow number 28, The Outsiders War, Book 3. Holy crap. Remember, let's just put it this way. There was a time when Green Arrow was being reviewed on this book and on other review sites and shows across the nation, and people going, New 52, Green Arrow, what the now it's like one of the best books. I'll give you 2 reasons. Jeff Lemire. But that's one guy. I know, but so fine. We'll say Jeff Lemire and Andre Sorrentino. It's so good. And it's so stylized. There's whole panels in here, you know, they go back and forth between the full color and the black and white with a single color for emphasis. And then there are whole panels in here where the panels themselves are the sound effects and the people are going on in them. And even some of those are done like one color and weird print. And it's, I get that for some people this can be quite jarring. It doesn't necessarily have that everyday comic book look, but I like that. I like that right now 2 of the more interesting to read and more interestingly done, interesting story-wise and interesting handling-wise comics out there are Green Arrow and Hawkeye. I like that the Archers are getting that kind of...
They're getting their due?
Forget their due. They're getting that indie feel. They're getting that cool, you know... These books are stylized, cool, different, you know, different. It's just like they're their own little subcategory. Earth 2 number 20. There was a time when I almost dropped this because Robinson was leaving, and you know, and I was like, oh, I liked it. This was my favorite book. I don't know, but I got to tell you, really, if it didn't tell me that Tom Taylor was right, I wouldn't have. And that's a good thing. I'm not saying like, you know, oh, he's so into script. It was the smoothest transition of a change in the guard on a comic book ever, especially in the New 52 that's had some bumpy changes, as it were. It just, you know, didn't miss a beat. The tone is the same, you know, the concept. And I'm digging, you know what, it may as well just, Earth 2 at this point is, you know, Marvel has its Ultimate Universe. This is Ultimate DC. It's Ultimate New 52. The changes are so drastic. Deaths seem to be, you know, yeah, well, primarily permanent. You know, but they killed Superman and he's not. Yeah, well, you know, okay, you want to have a big plot twist of apocalyptic takeover. You know, that works. But you know, I like this new Kryptonian Val, the black Kryptonian. Shouldn't you say African American? He's neither African nor American. He's from Krypton. So no. He's the black Kryptonian. I don't know what to tell you. I like him. I like the way they're handling it. I like the Thomas Wayne Earth 2 Batman. I like all of this. I just like all of this. It's really well done. And I was talking to one of our friends in the store the other day, Sean Cobble. He'd been on the show once. I think what works best for that is the New 52 didn't. You need to, if you're going to do that kind of change, you need to do all or nothing. The New 52 kept something like Batman is 90%, 98% the same, whereas the Teen Titans were 250% different, and everything else kind of fell somewhere in the middle. And Earth 2 just went, okay, we're going to take the JSA, we're going to keep the names and the basic power concepts. That's it. Everything else, new, different, change, start from square one and go. As opposed to start everything at 5 years in, start the Justice League at 5 years ago, and then kind of fill in pieces as you. It was all just kind of the New 52 wasn't a smooth change. It was a mess, and massive changes. Earth 2 has been a let's go, and it's been great. So read that. Loki, Agent of Asgard, was so much fun. The art is gorgeous. The story was fun. Loki, so relatable. Go kill the gamers. The stories, well, it's Al Ewing, and I already love his Mighty Avengers, so of course I'm going to love this. Actually, not of course. There's some authors I love on one thing, and I love it. So let's give him credit where it's due. It's not just that I you know, oh, it says Al Ewing, so I follow him around. I didn't know who he was till that book started. But now I love both of these. There was an interesting, you know, for those of you who miss Evil Loki, you know, original Loki, there's an interesting some interesting developments in here, but at the same time, it's like I can't help but think that it's sort of like, remember, for those of you in my age group, for those of us old enough to remember when Coke went to New Coke, and then they went back to Coca-Cola Classic. And Coca-Cola Classic was the same, but not exactly the same as it's not like it was the original Coke. It was still different. Yeah, I think there's going to be some of that to one of the elements, but you have to read this. I don't want to spoil it for you. But this is really good. And even the explanation page on the back, it's all, apparently the concept for this springs from the kind of, thing that, one of my favorite panels from from an old, because I'd always loved this. And there's the idea that when Odin fought Surtur, and he was killed at one point. He gets better, and then he dies again. It's just what Odin does in the comics. But and he yells out, what better, and when better to die than with a man's sons beside him? And he yells out, for Asgard, and Thor's like, for Midgard, and Loki's like, for myself. And that really sums up, Loki in a way. But it's good. I automatically like all the Loki thought process here better than I did in any of the young Loki stuff. The Gillen stuff, it just wasn't there. But this works, and I like it, and it's really good. So read it. The Fox, Wade and Haspiel, so good. I can't wait for the for the last one. Hell, I've ordered the trade on this. It's Mark Wade, so it's brilliant. It even ties in now with the backup story. So next issue is going to be the Fox and the Shield. And the Shield can find out what does the Fox say. Mostly he says, where the hell am I? Which isn't in the song, so there are no ding 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 dings in here. I love the Fox. I love the look. I love Dean Haspiel's artwork. It's just so clean yet quirky and cartoony, but it's just really good. Batwing was interesting. There's a little loss in Batwing, you have Ratcatcher, and for some reason, of all the Bat villains, Ratcatcher has always been one of my favorites. Probably because I have issues. I already want to see a Ratcatcher. I want them to. Gail Simone needs to get her hands on Ratcatcher because I want Ratcatcher versus Mouse from the Movement, and I think that'd be awesome. But this is good. It's good. It's Palmiotti and Gray. Do I really have to get into every time that Palmiotti and Gray equal good? Do I have to keep telling you this? Do I have to spell it out for you? Because Gray is easy to spell, I'm Italian, I can handle Palmiotti, but the rest of you might get hurt. Not you, Peter, because you probably spell it a lot, while signing checks and, Detective Comics. Again, this is the Gothtopia. Batman. World is happy and shiny, and Batman is having none of it. Catwoman can sort of see through it, but really wants the happy and shiny. She's like, no. Just bats, stop fighting on this. This is the second time in this pile. We'll get later to Forever Evil, where Batman is kind of going for the way things should be, and Catwoman's like, look, this is the way it is, though. So that was interesting. This is good. It's John Layman. It's good. The Punisher was okay. I was talking to Jared the other day. The thing with the Punisher is he doesn't change much, and when they do, it's always something radical and silly, like Frankencastle or Heaven's Assassin with weird glowing sigils on his forehead as he hunts down demons with magic guns. So that was silly. But other than that, he's just a guy who snapped and took the Batman thing to a more gritty and realistic extreme of, I ain't dressing like a freaking bat. Just give me a shirt with a skull on it and an automatic weapon. I'll take care of bad guys. Crime Alley. Fixed. So, I don't know. I just think, it's okay. And if you're a Punisher fan, then this is exactly what you're looking for. But really, it's the same thing always. I really just think the Punisher works best in little arcs, miniseries, and back in the day when he was like just showing up in Spider-Man and Daredevil as not a good guy, not a bad guy. I hate the term anti-hero because it's really so cliche, but then so is the Punisher, so it's okay. That's my review. It's okay. Wolverine, same thing. He's like a bad guy now. Well, not really, but he does crime, and everyone seems to be okay with that. Like shoot somebody in the head, maybe. I sort of dig the scar to an extent. I don't want to make a big deal of the whole, he's lost his powers, his regenerative powers, because he's done that many times. I'm sure eventually he will get them back. It's okay. It's not. I mean, if you Wolverine, by all means, read it, knock yourself out. But it's not. It's not breaking new ground so much as slightly differently retreading old material. Ms. Marvel #1 was really, really good. And I know, the whole Muslim superhero. People were, people on the internet were up in arms. Not necessarily comic fans per se, so much as nosy busybodies who've never read a comic book, don't know who any of the Ms. Marvels have been in the Marvel Universe, but know that one's going to be a Muslim and they have problems with that. I think it's really well done. I think that, yes, it deals with very strongly with the Muslim aspects of the character, but I think that's mostly because that's part and parcel with who this character is. Because let's face it, most of the time religion isn't a big deal to comic book characters, because most of the time, there are only a handful of characters you can actually name the religion of. And even when you can, most of the time it's not acted upon. When they need to make a holiday special, Marvel will remember, in fact, that Ben Grimm is Jewish. When they need to go, let's balance things out a little, there's Ben Grimm with a yarmulke and and like a menorah, and they remember. Okay, Nightcrawler was a priest. His religion is important it's central to the character. Daredevil has had a lot of born again moments. See, because that was the story in the church. But other than that, for the most part, you don't have a lot of, you don't have that issue. And there was Peter waiting in church. It doesn't happen other than wedding issues. So it's not really a factor what the religion is of any of the characters. For this one, it's important, and it's really well done. The art, and forget the religion aspect, the whole story is well done. I like the character already. I love this art. It's like mainstreamy meets cartoony and just goes with it. It looks like an image book, and one of the cool image books that they're putting out right now. Not like the entire New 52 pretty much looks like an image book at the moment, but in that way, like right now, Image just keeps putting out these little surprise hits that everybody, whoa, these are awesome, and this has that look and feel, and I'm on board. I'm really liking the character. I like the story. I like the art. The religion is there. It's right there. You can't avoid it. But it's central to this particular character. Like Nightcrawler, his religion is important to him. Daredevil, at times his religion is important to him. This character, her religion is important to her. It's a part of who she is, and that's fine. That's more than fine. I myself am not very religious in any form. Sometimes violently opposed to all of them, but that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy something that embraces just something that isn't necessarily my shtick. Alright, so it's good. Read it, check it out, you'll be happy. Art's gorgeous, story's good. I already like the character. I hope they put her on one of my teams that I actually read. So really, from Marvel, I think that would mean Mighty Avengers or New Warriors when it comes out. So get on that. Swamp Thing, so damn good. Right now, best book the New 52 has, including Earth. This is the best. I love this book. It is it is Vertigo in the DCU, and I liked it. You know, I don't get me wrong. You know, I'm a Scott Snyder fan. I liked the original bit of this, but Charles Soule has done so much with this, and I just love this. I get so excited when this comes out. I can't wait for the Charles Soule collection to to be in trade. I just want it already. So good. Read that. We get the origin here of Capucine. It's not an origin, I would have thought. Also, the resolution from the previous issue to the way he dealt with Swamp Thing dealt with the polyamida trees is not as resolved as we thought. There's some interesting side effects to that even Swampy didn't think were going to happen, and it's just really good. This issue is Javier Pina on art. Javier Pina. I think right now, two of my favorite artists are the two that go back and forth on this. Jesus Saez, Javier Pina. They're just awesome. Awesome! What's this? Forever Evil. Forever Evil. I really, really liked it. Sinestro is just awesome. And even, when Sinestro takes out Powering, and he does, he kills him. Part of it is, it's his Sinestro-ness. But also part of it is, he calls, you look like Hal Jordan. You're obviously supposed to be Hal Jordan, but you are not Hal Jordan. He's insulted because as much as Hal Jordan and Sinestro are enemies, they are also friends, and he is insulted by this imperfect copy of his, this like second-rate copy of his friend / enemy, and he just, no, we're not having any of it. Whatever scared the crime syndicate so much that they came here is also here. So you get a splash page of the, I believe it's actually the thing that took everybody in Star Trek Generations. It's Captain Kirk is in there and Whoopi Goldberg.
Really?
And I'm not even a Star Trek fan, but that's the first thing I thought of, is somewhere in there Whoopi Goldberg is going to explain to Superman that he has to go back while he's living in a house with Lois and a horse. And Whoopi Goldberg has to tell him it's not real. That's my theory for the end of Forever Evil. That's who's under the hood, is it's Whoopi Goldberg. Because they don't want her to tell anybody. The New 52, oh, that'd be awesome. The New 52 is just all in Lex Luthor's head in this wiggly thing. That'd be, can somebody make that happen? But yeah, it's really good. I'm digging this story. This is one of those, it's one of those slower beats, but that's important. When you do this is number 5 of 7, the middle of the story has to be that, people. It has to be the middle of the story. Some people always complain, no. This is the middle of the story. The beginning sets things up. You have climax, but actually this is just past the middle. So you had let's go. You've got exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. It can't all be climax, people. You comic book fans, ask your girlfriends. They'll tell you. It's not all climax. All right? But it's so good. Read that. Green Lantern number 28. Red Lantern number 28. Green Lantern number... What the heck is a flip book? Yeah, it is. We get Robert Venditti and Charles Soule. So good. So well done. And it was great because it was part 1 of 2, part 2 of 2 in one book. So it's nice. Without missing, the Red Lantern part picks up where Red Lantern left off, the Green Lantern book, so it's not like it's just, but what happened with what was going on? It's all resolved. Guy has some really touching, and I'm feeling for Guy. And Zox is the greatest. He gets bent out of shape, but then later gets punched back into shape. It's the greatest. This character is just awesome. He goes to Earth and starts a fight with, in the last issue, he started the whole fight with Shadow Thief because she's all anti-alien, and he has a question, and he happens to meet a super villain, alien-hating woman when he asks his one question, which he wants to know on Earth. He goes, "I have a question. What's a testicle?" And then she goes nuts because he don't know, and guy told him you look like a testicle, so he wants to know, which is just funny. You've got Atrocitus versus I forget his name, the other Earth Red Lantern,
Rancor.
and the Rancor and Bleeze. And then you've also got over in the green side, you've got Saint Walker, and he's he's looking for hope, but he's not finding it. He's on like Hope Quest. All right, it's not easy being blue. So really good, really well done. And while I don't remember, even in Supergirl, I don't remember where she actually gets the ring. I don't remember that happening. I don't know if I missed something or if something hasn't come out yet or whatever. Everything you need to know for this is here, and I'm even more curious about how it's going to be handled in Supergirl. So, that's très bien. Codename Action number 5 finally becomes Captain Action. He gets a promotion, and he gets a... I'm not entirely certain why they would give a super spy that uniform, unless they knew about the toys. I don't know. But as he gets Codename Action, so he is a captain. That makes him Captain Action. This stars like a bunch of the heroes, the Golden Age public domain heroes that Dynamite likes to play with. Really good. I really liked the Captain Action stuff. Damsels is still a lot of fun. Damsels number 12. Digging Damsels. I just love that Frog Prince. He just makes me so happy. He's got his crush on Ash. And you get Winged Monkeys, a Frog Prince. Crazy, weird, octopus chick, almost Ursula, but more like what if Ursula was more Cthulhu than Disney. And a whole bunch of witches. So it's fun. The Shadow is good. It's okay. I like it's better than Shadow now. It's still not as much fun as Shadow Year One or Shadow, or whatever the
Year One.
Shadow Year One, right? Is the Wagner one that is just so much fun and so animated-y looking. But this Chris Robinson is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just hard to come out of the Shadow with that other one. The Shadow. I didn't even mean that. I just punned naturally. Green Hornet. It's Mark Waid. It's Green Hornet. It's good. This is a touch on all the fields. This is Mark Waid coming out of, okay, we did this. Now let's just... And he does really, really well. This was really, really good issue. The Movement. They clean up Mouse. I love that character. They F up Batgirl. I like that character. This is just so interesting. And you get a rematch, a re-damn match, literally, to quote from in here. Gail Simone gets, Batgirl comes in here, but Catharsis has fought Batgirl before and is more than happy to mess with her now. A lot of interesting parallels, not just between the characterization, but also between the thoughts of Virtue and Batgirl, as each one thinks they remind them of themselves and have all these great qualities, and then immediately end it at the same time. They're both thinking, but she's dead wrong. So they're even exactly the same stubborn, and it's really, really good. It ends cliffhangery, and I want to know what's going on, especially since what they're arguing over is a guy who has these solar powers that she's come after, and they're like, well, no, he defended himself. He killed some people trying to stop a mugging, but he can't control his power. But he seems to just be, every time he wants to be left alone, he just flashes all solar and turns people to bones. So, looks like Batgirl's a little more right. The theory and sentiment behind what the Movement are saying is accurate, but in this particular specific example of this man, Batgirl's right. So now we have to see how that happens, since at the moment, Batgirl's outnumbered, and therefore her rightness is kind of moot the way this ends. So we'll see where it goes from there. Really, really good. Suicide Risk. Different artist on this one. Coelho or George Coelho. You know, I don't know. My friend Neil has the name. His last name's Jorge, and he pronounces it Neil George. I don't know. So I don't. I could go either way, I guess. Just when you think you know, you don't know. But at first it threw me because I was very used to this book looking a certain way. But it grew on me quickly, and also this is a sidestep from. This is not about our main character. It's not about Requiem and the group he's with. This is about the two who gave him the powers in the first place. This is their origin, and I am now much clearer on understanding the way the powers work and what is actually happening. And there's a group that doesn't want people to have their powers or to regain their powers, more to the point, and along with it, their memories of who they used to be. And these guys, they're not giving people powers. They're actually finding people who've had powers and memories wiped and are reactivating them, and they're getting their powers and to an extent their memories. And that's, apparently this was not good that they had powers. So really, really good there. X-Men continues to be good. It's the novelty has worn off. It's got some of my favorite characters, which is why I continue to read it. But this feels more like the X books I'm used to, and I didn't read X books for years because they all felt kind of like just okay, X and blah blah blah, nothing that I care about, kind of generic. And right now with Amazing X-Men, All New X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and Wolverine the X-Men all being awesome, to just have another one that's just another X book. It's not bad, it's just not able to, they're so awesome that it's just like, hey, I can't get Superior Foes of Spider-Man is awesome. Greatest book. Let's call it that. We'll go greatest book. I love this book, and so should you, and you should be reading it. And I can't even begin to explain this to you. You've got decapitated, sentient heads of former crime lords biting Shocker on the nose. You've got Chameleon just like having a shit fit. You've got Boomerang on a date and alternately dreaming about said date. And you've got the new Beetle, who is in fact Tombstone's daughter, really proving that she should be the brains of this whole operation. It's so good. Read that. Black Widow is okay. It's gorgeous. It's okay. People who like this really, really like it. It's not my thing. Action Comics is one of the better issues. I like Greg Pak, but I don't know. Hopefully Jeff Johns can write some Superman worth reading, because so far Superman's floundering in the DC New 52. He's yet to find. They haven't made him Superman yet. They've just made him a guy with an S. Turok, right, by Greg Pak. See, I told you I like him. This was really, really good. Dynamite's got Dynamite's got Turok. Greg Pak is writing it. It's really good. It's an origin. It's true to it. Valiant did it, which is interesting because once upon a time he was Valiant. But this is true to everything that Turok is, but it's also brand new, just like the Valiant books have been. Dynamite nailed it on this. So I'm dying for Fred Van Lente's Magnus Robot Fighter, and I forget who's doing. I don't know who Frank Barbieri is, but I'm on board for Man of the Atom just based on this. It was really good, lots of fun. The dinosaurs, everything shows up in time. It kind of sets up. I love the artwork. It's good. If you're a fan of Turok, or even if you're not, check it out. It's got dinosaurs. He hunts them. So we need a robot dinosaur, and then he and Magnus Robot Fighter can team up. You have a robot dinosaur versus Magnus the Robot Fighter and Turok Dinosaur Hunter. All right, that's it. I bid thee adieu. Meow.